Welcome to the Deep Dive. Today we are tackling a real classic, a cornerstone of dystopian fiction, Ray Bradbury's Fahrenheit 451.
Right.
And our mission for this deep dive is a little different. We want to retell the entire immersive story of its main character, Fireman Guy Montag, from start to finish.
And we want to do it using Bradbury's own language as much as possible so you really get a feel for the book's power.
Exactly. So you walk away with the whole story and the sound of those unforgettable words.
And to do that, you have to start with the foundational rule of this terrifying world. Firemen don't save, they destroy. They're agents of a state that values comfort over everything else.
And they burn the one thing that can challenge that comfort.
Books. The title itself is the mission statement, Fahrenheit 451, the temperature at which book paper catches fire and burns.
And when we first meet Montag, he's completely devoted to this idea. His joy is so visceral. He says that it was a special pleasure to see things eaten, to see things blackened and changed.
Yeah, he loves his job. He even embraces the smell of the chemicals. He says it right at the beginning.
Kerosene is nothing but perfume to me. He is the perfect, happy agent of ignorance.
And it's so chilling how isolated he is, even inside his own home. The whole society's built for speed and just sensory overload. The houses are all fireproofed, but the city outside is this blur.
Right, the jet cars racing on the boulevards.
And the billboards are stretched out, 200 foot long, just so people driving at insane speeds can even see them. Everything is built to kill reflection.
And that velocity carries right into his living room with his wife, Mildred. She is the perfect example of this isolation.
For sure. She's always wearing her seashells, the thimble radios in her ears,
Yeah, completely tuned out. Her real life is with her quote-unquote family.
The actors on her 3, and soon to be 4. Wall-to-wall television screens. She's in the same room as Montag, but she's in a totally different world.
A different reality. And that reality just gets shattered for Montag by 2 big shocks back to back.
The first one is external. It's his new neighbor, a 17-year-old girl named Clarisse McClellan. She is everything his society has thrown away.
She's slow, she's curious.
Yeah, she has this gentle hunger that touched over everything with tireless curiosity. She notices things like, dew on the grass in the morning. Simple things.
And she asks him the one question that just unravels everything.
The big one.
Are you happy? And his reaction is just panic. He literally says out loud, am I what?
Yeah, he tries to brush it off, telling himself happy of all the nonsense. But it's too late. The question is in there.
It's like a splinter in his mind.
Exactly. And that splinter sets the stage perfectly for the second shock, the real vacuum in his life. He gets home right after that conversation.
And finds that Mildred has overdosed 30 sleeping capsules?
And the way it's handled just shows you how inhuman this world is. They don't call a doctor. They call these 2 impersonal technicians.
Right. With their machines, they treat her like a broken appliance. One of the machines is like a black cobra that just pumps her stomach and replaces all her blood.
And the guys are so detached. They say they get 9 or 10 a night. It's just routine.
But the worst part, I think, is the next morning. Mildred just wakes up hungry. She asks him, did we have a wild party or something?
No memory, no emotion. It just shows you how disposable life is in this world, even your own.
So as his whole idea of happiness just falls apart, this guilt starts to grow. Clarisse, his only real human connection, she just disappears.
Probably run over by a car full of children out for a joyride. It's what they do.
And Montag starts to see his own job differently. The fire engine's hose is suddenly a great python spitting its venomous kerosene.
And he gets fixated on the most terrifying thing in the firehouse.
The Mechanical Hound.
The 8-legged metallic hound.
Oh.
It's a pure killing machine, It hunts with this hollow steel needle that injects massive doses of poison.
It's really a symbol of how technology is used in this world, isn't it? It's not for making life better.
Not at all. It's for fear. They've outsourced their conscience to this machine whose only function is hunting and finding and killing. It's the cold metal face of social control.
And all that fear and doubt comes to a head at the next fire alarm. The old woman's house.
This is the real point of no return for him. Because this time, the victim refuses to leave her books. She's choosing to die with them.
And her last words, Montag doesn't even understand them, but they hit him like a thunderclap.
Play the man, Master Ridley. We shall this day light such a candle, by God's grace in England, as I trust shall never be put out.
A quote about martyrdom, about history, and it just breaks him. Bradbury says his hand acts with a brain of its own. It grabs a book.
He steals it. shoves it under his coat, and later hides it in the ventilator grill at home. And that's it. The break is complete.
So the next day he calls in sick, and his captain, Beatty, shows up for a sick call. He knows exactly what's happening.
Oh, Beatty's seen it all before. He's this master cynic who's read all the books just so he can tear them down.
And he gives Montag this chilling lecture. He explains that censorship wasn't some government plot.
He says it was a bottom-up movement. The masses wanted it. Mass media started shortening things, making digests.
To avoid offending anyone. To avoid making anyone think too hard.
Right. It was all for the sake of an easy, enforced happiness. And he has this brilliant line about how even small things contributed to the death of thought.
Yeah, that quote is amazing.
He says the zipper displaces the button, and a man lacks just that much time to think while dressing at dawn, a philosophical hour.
Wow. So even losing that tiny moment of quiet reflection is part of the problem.
Exactly. And it all leads to Beatty's brutal conclusion. He says, a book is a loaded gun in the house next door. Burn it. Take the shot from the weapon.
And he knows Montag has a book. He gives him 24 hours to burn it.
That ultimatum pushes Montag over the edge.
Yeah.
He shows Mildred his secret stash, like 20 books, and she just panics, tries to burn one immediately.
So he gets desperate. He needs a teacher. And he remembers Faber, a retired English professor he met in a park.
And Faber is terrified at first. He calls himself a coward, a guy who saw the way things were going, but never spoke up.
But he gives Montag this profound insight. He says it's not the books themselves that are magic.
No, he says it's not books you need, it's some of the things that once were in books.
That is such a key distinction.
It is. And then he lays out the three things their society has lost. First, quality, texture of information. He says books show the pores in the face of life.
The messy, difficult truth.
Right. Second, and this one feels so relevant today, is leisure to digest it.
He doesn't just mean free time.
No, not just off hours. He means actual quiet time for your brain. Time away from the constant noise of the TV walls to actually think about what you've learned.
And the third thing?
The right to carry out actions based on what you learned from the first two. Because if you have quality information and time to think, you're going to act differently. And the state can't have that.
So to get Faber to help him, Montag starts. He starts tearing pages out of a Bible.
The last copy he knows of. It's brutal, but it works. Faber gives him a tiny green radio transmitter, the green bullet.
He puts it in his ear. So Faber becomes the queen bee whispering in his ear, and Montag is the drone out in the world.
A good thing, too, because Montag immediately does something incredibly reckless.
He goes home and finds Mildred with her friends, Mrs. Phelps and Mrs. Bowles, and they are just so empty.
Oh, they're horrifying. They talk about their husbands going to war like it's a TV show, and their kids like they're a chore.
So Montag, just disgusted, decides to read them a poem. Faber's screaming in his ear not to do it, but he does it anyway.
He reads Dover Beach. He reads the lines about the loss of faith and certainty, the sea of faith, retreating to the breath of the night wind, down the vast edges drear and naked shingles of the world.
And the effect is immediate.
Devastating. Mrs. Phelps just bursts into uncontrollable tears. For the women, it just proves that poetry makes you feel sickness and awful feelings.
Oh. But for Montag, it proves the power of real emotion, the beautiful, terrible power of it.
And that brings us to the final act, Burning Bright. Montag goes back to the firehouse. He knows he's in trouble.
And Beatty is waiting for him. He just bombards him with contradictory quotes from different books, trying to confuse him, trying to prove that books are just messy and untrustworthy.
He almost succeeds. He almost talks Montag back into line.
But then the alarm goes off, they rush out, and the salamander pulls up right in front of Montag's own house.
The ultimate betrayal. Beatty reveals that Mildred turned him in, but her friends did it first.
And Mildred just flees, grabs a suitcase, gets in a taxi, and she's just mourning her poor family, oh, everything gone. She means the TV wall.
Unbelievable. So Beatty makes Montag burn his own house, room by room, with the flamethrower. And there's this weird, sick satisfaction for Montag in doing it.
Especially burning the parlor walls where the great idiot monsters lay asleep.
But then Beatty finds the green bullet. He threatens to trace it back to Faber. And Montag just snaps.
And this is where it gets really weird. Beatty seems to almost want it. He taunts Montag.
And he does. He says, go ahead now, you secondhand literature. Pull the trigger.
And Montag does. He kills him. Beatty becomes a shrieking blaze, a jumping, sprawling, gibbering mannequin, no longer human or known, all writhing flame on the lawn.
In the chaos, the Mechanical Hound attacks him, and he destroys it. but not before it injects his leg with Procaine.
As he's staggering away, he has this one last realization about his captain.
That Beatty had wanted to die.
Mm-hmm.
That maybe the biggest conformist of them all was the most miserable. It's such a tragic, complex idea.
So now he's a fugitive. On his way out of the city, he does one last act of rebellion.
He plants the last few books he has in Fireman Black's house and calls in an alarm on him, sowing chaos in the system.
He gets to Faber's for a minute, leaves him money, tells him how to cover his tracks, wipe everything with alcohol, turn on the sprinklers.
And as he's running for his life, he's almost run down by a car full of children out for fun.
Yeah.
The same kind of kids who probably killed Clarisse.
The manhunt is being broadcast live, of course. But the police can't catch him fast enough for good television.
Right, they need a snap ending. So on the little TV Faber is watching, they just hunt down and kill some random guy walking on the street and claim it's Montag.
They declare, the search is over, Montag is dead, a crime against society has been avenged. The propaganda machine needs a clean ending, even if it's a lie.
But the real Montag is in the river. The water is washing him clean. He's moved from fire to water.
A total transformation.
And he has this thought that the sun burned every day. It burned time. He realizes that if the sun is already burning, he has to stop burning. He has to start preserving.
He becomes an asbestos weaver.
Exactly. He gets out of the river, finds these abandoned railroad tracks. He knows Clarisse must have walked there. And he sees a different kind of fire.
A fire that's warming, not burning.
And he meets a group of old men, the big people. Their leader, Granger, explains what they do.
They're living libraries.
Thumbs on the outside, libraries on the inside. Each one has memorized an entire book to keep it safe until the world is ready for it again.
And Montag finds his place. He realizes he's retained the Book of Ecclesiastes and Revelation. He's become a book.
And as they're sitting there, the old world is literally erased. Bombers fly over, and the city is just vaporized. The war is that quick and that total.
And in the silence after, Granger shares his grandfather's philosophy.
I hate a Roman named status quo.
A perfect motto.
And they start walking back toward the ruins of the city to wait. They are the memory of a civilization, just trusting that someday the books can be written again.
So Montag's journey is complete, from destruction to preservation.
From the pleasure of ignorance to the quiet burden of knowledge.
And that really leaves us with that final thought. Granger says that for all our mistakes, humanity never gets so discouraged or disgusted that he gives up doing it all over again.
It's a hopeful note, in a way.
It is. So the question Bradbury leaves you with is, what knowledge would you carry? In a crisis, what book would you choose to become? And maybe more importantly, what status quo do you hate enough to remember and fight against?